Hello YouTube and welcome to another video, and it's Steve here from Mad About Hoovers. Indeed, we are mad about Hoovers on this channel, and today I'm going to be doing a video about a machine that has never featured before on this channel. This machine has been it's been in my collection for the last 4 to 5 years. I bought it in 2012, I think it was, and it was from one of the local Euronics dealers that was based in Stone in Staffordshire, called Highlands, and this machine was on their website, but it didn't really appear in many of the mainstream shops. This machine is actually called Siemens Z6, and it's very, very closely related to what I believe to be was the Bosch BSGL5. I think that's what it was called. So we got the Bosch version in this country. It was quite common, but this one here is like the Siemens version, which obviously they're both made in Germany. They're both German companies. Bosch Siemens are, I think they used to be, or they still are, the same company. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to get it out of the box and put it all together. Now, I've only used this cleaner once before, and then I put it back away in the box afterwards and it never got used again. So this is pretty much in brand new condition in here. It has never really seen much of the light of day, and it's also got its packaging around it, because I think in the years to come this particular model is not going to be very common. It wasn't very common when it was new, so it will be even less common in the years to come. So I'm going to bring the camera and put it a bit lower down here, and we will devote this video to unboxing it, getting it out and showing the different parts of it, and the next video I'll do will be the one where we push it round and demonstrate it. So it's going to be like 2 videos. This is, we're going to have the unboxing and first look, and then closely following on after that we're going to have the demonstration video where it gets pushed around the carpet. Okay, let's put the camera down here. I don't do many unboxings on this channel, and it's not strictly an unboxing in that sense of the word, because it's not actually a brand new cleaner. This has been out of the box before, but nevertheless, let's see if we can zoom in on that a little bit better. There we go. So, what we're going to do is we're going to open the box up, and I feel like Roger. I feel like it beats as it suits as it cleans, because this is usually his domain, opening all these boxes up and getting machines out. So what have we got first? We've got the floor head here. Now what we'll do is we'll get it all out of the box and lay it on the carpet, and then I'll get the camera down for an even closer look after it's been unboxed. So what we've got essentially here is it's a Miele type of floor head, but it's got a slightly different type of trim on the front, and it says Siemens on the front there. And it's got your standard 2-position switch. In other words, it's a very good quality combination floor nozzle. I'll put that down there. And then we've got the hose handle. That's basically very, very similar to a Miele. Now I've got the Miele over there for comparison. You can see, obviously, being a German cleaners, that they're going to have their similarities, and that handle is pretty similar to the one on the Miele over there, except the only thing it doesn't have is the suction relief valve on it. This cleaner, incidentally, is rated at 2,500 watts. So this is the most powerful vacuum cleaner that I own, at 2.5 kilowatts. It really is a beast. The EU would have wanted this banned long ago, because it, on full power, sucks the pants off you. Very powerful machine indeed. And then we've got the hose. Now this is, let me just judge the length of it. It is, I would say, 1.8 metres tall, or maybe 2 metres. At the most. It's not the longest hose around, but it isn't the shortest one. And then we've got a box of bags. Now these are the Bosch Siemens Mega Air Supertex Type GXXL or GXL. and these fit the BSGL5, which I believe this machine really closely resembles. It's the BSGL5. And then we've got the list of Siemens ones here that they fit as well on the side. And they're about £12. They're quite expensive, those bags. I don't know whether I've actually opened it. No, I've still got 4 bags left in there, so there would have originally been one in the machine. So those are the bags. Now we've got the wand. The wand is very, very similar to a Miele, except it just feels a bit heavier than a standard Miele wand. And we've got it's fully extendable, telescopic, but it works in a slightly different way to a Miele. It doesn't have a button. It has sort of there's a part that goes all the way around that you sort of push down to extend it. So that's the wand. Now this is the turbo brush. This machine came with a turbo brush as standard, which a lot of machines don't these days, unless you buy the PET version. So this would be very, very similar to the Bosch BSGL5 PET. This is the very similar turbo brush to what they supply with the SIBO canister vacuums. It's quite an old-fashioned looking turbo brush now. Again, I will bring the camera down, we'll have a closer look at this a bit later on. So that's the turbo brush there. In here, we have got the works, haven't we? This is a mini turbo brush. So this one, essentially, is for doing the furniture with and the pet hair off the furniture. And there are, as I say, there are not many cleaners that you can buy that come with a standard size turbo brush, a mini turbo brush, and the universal combination floor head, which is a good quality one as well. So we've got the mini turbo brush there, and that's never been used. And then we've got the instruction manual here, which is it's rather thick because it's in God knows how many languages. Obviously Siemens sold this all around the world, so there we go, that's the instruction book. And then we've got the main cleaner itself. Okay, so we'll just get the covering off there, and we'll put this box to one side. So there we go. This is the actual unit itself, and we have a very, very similar machine here to the Bosch BSGL5. This is a fairly heavy machine to pick up. It's a full-size machine, comparable in size with the Miele over there, the C3 Complete, or the S8. It says Siemens Z6.0 Power, 2,500 watts. Ultimate performance, made in Germany. There we go. So what we're going to do, we'll get the camera down, and I will go into closer detail for you now. So let's just bring it down. Right. So here we go. This is the canister machine. It's a very, very striking looking machine in what looks like a very deep shade of burgundy red. Very, very similar colour to my Miele Cat and Dog S6, this machine. You've got your nozzle there. Now I believe on some of the Bosch versions it had a sort of a rotating globe sort of socket in there for the hose, but this one the hose plugs just straight in, and the hose is, if you look, it is one of these hoses which is wider at one end and narrower at the other end, and these were around long before Pneumatic did it on theirs. Now if you look at pneumatic cleaners now, their hoses are sort of conical shaped hoses like this, but this is really pronounced. I mean, that is a really, really wide hose just there, and it's a wide entrance to the bag, so there's going to be pretty few blockages in there. I mean, that is massive in diameter, that hose. So the cleaner on the back, we've got the turn knob, the dial, and this has one setting there, which is the lowest setting, that's your minimum, and then we've got the next one up here, which is for rugs, and then we've got your, looks like the setting for, that's hard floor, isn't it? And then we've got the top setting there, which says air turbo. Now that would work at 2.5 kilowatts, so you can just imagine the sort of suction power that this thing's going to pull. It's going to be immense, because there's your power rating there, 2,500 watts. Compared to what you're offered now, which is a miserable sort of 750 watts now, I mean, this is crazy. The heat that this thing would generate, that sort of power out of the top there. On the back here now you've got your power lights. Now I'll turn it on shortly and you'll be able to see those come on. And what they do, they glow at blue. So you've got your power rate lights here. You've got the low, medium, high, and then your sort of air turbo light there, which is the fastest speed. This one's a, I think this is the bag full light here, and that's your power on light. So it's got a combination of lights and a dial there, which is fairly unusual. Now, going for the side view, there we go. It's got no docking ports for the floor head on the side there, and there's none on there either, so I can only assume, yes, there it is, it's on the bottom. So it's got 4 casters, this machine, which is unlike a Miele, which only has 3, as you know. They are all swivel casters. Here's the stock label. So that's maximum 2,500 watts. Made in Germany, which I would expect from Siemens. I don't know. I don't understand how to date these machines, because obviously it's the only Siemens I've got. But I think it was made in around about 2009. This was possibly, or 2010, because I think the shop had it in stock for a little while before they sold it to me, because I got it for quite a reduced price because they were getting rid of it. Obviously it hadn't been very popular. When it was full price, I think it was actually quite expensive, this was. So we can open the top. So I think we press that button there to release the top, and then it hinges open. And what have we got inside? It's very, very similar to a Miele inside. Come on, focus, please. This camera does take its time to focus. So what we've got the exhaust filter, which is there on the back. And I believe we just have to lift that, do we? Yeah, like very similar. Very, very similar type of filter to a Miele. That's the HEPA filter, that one. I'd imagine, I've never had to see how much these cost, but I would imagine that they're quite expensive to buy. It's a full sealed system, so you've got a rubber gasket around the top of there, and then you've got your sort of motor down in there. It's not going to see much in there because it's all black. And as you can see from that, I mean, it's pretty white. It's never been used, this machine. It's pretty spotless. So we can put the exhaust filter back inside there, and that fits very, very securely. There's no time strip or anything on there that tells you when to replace it, like on a Miele. I don't know what those are for. I think, oh, they're just springs. Because obviously, I mean, this hasn't got a power head facility, so there's no cable that runs through the top there. Now, you've got your bag here, which is the original type, what does it say on it? Type GXXL, and it's Mega Air Supertex. Quality original accessory. It's got the bag closure on there when you pull it out. Not quite as good quality, I wouldn't have thought, as a Miele bag. They're not as thick, I'll tell you that now. They're quite a thin bag, so there's obviously not as many layers in those, but they're actually dearer to buy than Miele bags. So they're the bags. And inside we've got this lovely red colour inside the bag housing there. I do like this machine inside. That's fantastic, isn't it? And you can see the way it's patterned there to draw the air in towards the filter at the back. And there we've got the pre-motor filter, and that just lifts out like so. Again, I think that's actually all one part, that is, you have to replace the entire plastic as well as the filter. So I could imagine that that would be quite expensive as well. Now on a Miele you'd just open the door up and you could replace just the filter itself, but this, it reminds me, this does, of the Electrolux 500 type of filter, and also the one you get in the bottom of a Cibo Felix, which is like the plastic housing plus the filter together, and you replace that as one whole thing. And in the back there we can see the entrance to the motor there, like on a standard cylinder. And the motor is mounted horizontally. You can just about make out the end of the fan there. So let's just clip that back in. There we go. And then we'll slide our bag back in. There we go. And then put the top down. And I think, there we go, under there we can see again the exhaust filter, and that's the flap there for the tools, and there are the tools. So it's got a Siemens branded upholstery tool, which is rather thin plastic, but it's not too bad. It's not the best one I've seen. I don't think it's as good as a Miele one, but it's nevertheless it's pretty good. And then we've got the shortest crevice tool I've ever seen. I mean, that is even shorter than on a Miele, because I mean they've got to get it into a fairly small area. I'd rather they did it like that, to be honest, than putting them on the hose like on the Miele C2 compact. I prefer them when they are actually stored inside the machine, but the compromise is that you have to make do with a very small crevice tool. And this is the dusting brush. Now, surprisingly, for a machine of this price, this has only got plastic bristles on, whereas on a Miele they are proper. I think they are proper bristle on a Miele dusting brush, whereas that is. I mean, it's a nice looking dusting brush, but it doesn't have a swivel head like on a Miele. There we go. How did that go in? Did it go in like that? Or did it go in like that? I think it went in like that. Yeah, there we go. So none of those tools have ever been used before. So there we go. That's the machine, and we shall be plugging that in a minute. I don't know what the cord is like. I'm assuming as well, because there's no rewind on it, that it's a pull-pull tug-tug mechanism to rewind it in. So we'd rewind it out and then tug it again. Yeah, it's a tug-tug system on this one. And there you've got your on-off switch there, which goes basically across the whole of the back of the cleaner. Okay, now the floor heads. So we've got here the standard combination head, which is basically, it looks like a Vesselwerk design. This does. There's no doubt about it. That's definitely a Vesselwerk head, and it's got the adapter on for the Bosch rod, which again, it's a click fit design. So I think what we do on this one is we have to press that into release the rod, like that. Underneath is, it's a standard floor head underneath. It's got the metal sole plate, it's got the brushes front and rear, so you pull those down like so. It's a good quality, a really good quality floor head, that is. None of this plastic rubbish that supplied now. It's a very good one. And this is the turbo brush, and there we go, that says Turbo Universal on it. It's got the adjustable suction inlet on the top there for long and short pile carpet, which on the Miele is basically the slider which goes backwards and forwards there. This just uses a turn dial which opens a hole into the top, which is what they all do really. It's just this does it in a slightly different way. Again, that is very, very similar to, I think this is, again, is a Vesselwerk design, and it's what's supplied on the Cibo. I've got one of these on my K3 Volcano, exactly the same type of turbo brush, and there we can see underneath it. So we've got the miniature brush roll there with the chevron brushes on there. Again, that's quite a nice mini turbo brush there, and I shall be using that a little bit later on. We're going to be sort of giving it a christening. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put the dirt down on the carpet for these, because I want to try and keep this in as clean condition as possible. So I might just push it round as it is. As I say, I don't want to start getting it all dirty, because I want to preserve this in pretty much as new condition for as long as I can. So there's the turbo brush. The mini turbo brush is here. I've never seen one of this style before. This is a new one on me, of this style. It's the only one I've got like this. There's no wheels or anything on the bottom of it. I'm not quite sure how it comes apart for cleaning. I think there's two little lugs on the side of here, but I'm not sure how easy this is to split, or even whether I'm going to be able to do it on camera here. I might need the tools. No, it won't split, that one, I don't think. Doesn't look as if it wants to. It's got two screws in the bottom as well, so I'm assuming you might have to take those screws out, so it might not be as easy to open that one up. But there's the mini turbo brush. We'll put that on the end of the hose a bit later as well when I do the demonstration. And here is the hose itself, which I've just shown as well. That, as I say, is larger at that end than it is on that. So we can plug that into the machine. I don't think it matters how it goes in. Yes, it does swivel. It fully swivels on this end, which is what all good cleaners should do. So it stops the hose getting kinked and tangled up. And then this end of the hose, what we're going to do is put the handle on it, and that just clicks in like that. Okay. And then if I just put this up here, and we can actually what I'll do, I'll put it back up on the top again. There we go, and just focus that down slightly. Okay. And that's it. And then we'll just put the rod on it, like so. And again, it's just like a mirror, it all clicks into place. So you would press your button here, and then you can take it off. And that slides in, and it's nice and secure. And again, you can adjust your rod like so, and then we can put our floor head on like so. I think that's a bit short for me, so I should probably need it on length. Yeah, that's fine. And now we can have it on the carpet setting. Yeah, that's it. That's how it should go. So it's, as I say, it's not the longest hose in the world on this, but it's long enough. And the fact that it swivels at both ends is good news as well, so it doesn't get all tangled up. So that is the end of the sort of unboxing, if you will, and the quick looking over of it. On the next video, as I'm going to do, we'll have it turned on and we'll see it in use. So I'll say goodbye on this one, and see you for the next video.